Hey guys, so have you ever worked on a big project like having 3 apps, 5 packages, and a lot of dependencies which is shared amongst 2 3 projects, right? And you will be having a dashboard project, you will be having a admin and a lot of things in your project. And every time when you build it takes a long time, right? So yeah, we all have been there in our lives, right? You make a small change, then you build it, and it takes a long while, right? So that's when I found the Turborepo, a tool that makes your life easier. That's what companies like Vercel, Linear use in their daily life. Today I will be showing you how to set it up, how the caching works, and why it's such a game changer. So without further ado, let's get started into it. Alright, so what actually is Turborepo? Now let's go to the website of the Turborepo, so you will get to know what is Turborepo in real life. So Turborepo is a build system for JavaScript and TypeScript code bases, and it saved this much of hours in your code base building. It helps you managing multiple repos like front end, back end, and shared components all inside of one repository. It's very fast while building the apps. Turborepo remembers what changes you have made and it just rebuilds what you have changed in your repo. And it uses the smart caching, parallel builds, remote caching, and incremental builds. Basically, it saves time by rebuilding what you have changed. So you will be thinking like, why I should use this in my project, right? So let's be real, waiting for builds like it is taking too longer time, and you will be frustrated by in you have made small changes and now you have to rebuild again and again, and you will be like, oh god, what is going on? So Turborepo saves your time and your patience. It makes your CI/CD pipeline smoother and faster, and when your team grows, it just scales beautifully. Big names like Vercel, Linear, Payload, CMS, all these companies uses the Turborepo itself, and you can find the code base structure they have used in their repos, like they have used the Turborepo. Alright, let's try it ourselves. Now let's go to the VS Code and start building it from scratch. So guys, let's open the VS Code and go to your terminal, and now we will be creating our first Turborepo project in the VS Code. So the command is to create a new Turborepo, npx create turbo at latest, and the name. I want to create this Turborepo inside this folder only, so I am putting the dot over here. Hit. So we are going to use the npm package manager. You can use the pnpm, yarn, or whatever. Guys, this Turborepo is created successfully. Now let's open it in the VS Code. Guys, I have opened this in the VS Code. Now let's start this Turborepo. npm run dev, and boom, you will be seeing that two projects are running simultaneously. One is the web and one is the docs. So where you can find these two projects? So you can go to the apps and you will be having two projects, two Next.js application are here. One is the web and one is the docs. Okay, and you can go to the localhost 3001 and you can go to the localhost 3000, and you can see this is the web and this is the docs. Now let's explore the folder structure for this. So in the apps, you will be having all the apps that you will be having in your repository, like for the front end, for the back end, and you may be having multiple front end, like for the dashboard, for the admin, and for the main page, right? And you might be thinking like, how I can share the code between these two. So you will be having one packages folder. So inside this packages, you will be having all the packages or all the things that these two apps will be sharing and these all apps will be sharing, right? And inside this UI you will be having all the UI packages, UI components that you will be creating, and all these things will be used by these apps inside the this repository only. You can share the components, configurations and logic very easily in this whole Turborepo and between multiple projects even. Now let's talk about the brain of this Turborepo, the turbo.json file. So let me show you this turbo.json file. So this file controls how your tasks will run and what will be cached in this Turborepo. Basically it means whenever your builds run, whenever your files changes, no more wasting time for rebuilding the application again and again, right? So this will helps us to create faster builds. And the real magic of this Turborepo is the remote caching. So now here's where the Turborepo gets awesome. You can store your cache on the cloud and you can share it with your team. So how you can do that, let's see in the action. You can close this one, you can press Ctrl C for this. So the first of all thing, you have to log in with the turbo. So npx turbo login. When you hit this command, you will be redirected to the vercel.com and you can log in with Google. So you can log in with your account and you can authorize Turborepo CLI. And when you click on this, now you are logged in this Turbo, right? And what you have to do now, you can just run this command npx turbo link. This will link your all the cache to the Turbo cloud, and now your all the CI builds will get reduced from minutes to seconds. You can just simply do this. You can enable Vercel remote cache for this tutorial, so I am saying yes. Now the caching for this builds will be stored on the clouds. Now all the your team members use that cache for building their application faster, and your CI will takes seconds to build your application. So you will be thinking like, if I am having an existing project, right, a running project, so how I can use this in the Turborepo? So don't worry guys, you can use this one also. So if you already have any React or Node project inside your computer or live project, so no problem, you can move that project inside your apps folder and you can just use it in the Turborepo, and you don't have to start from the scratch in this Turborepo. You can use the existing projects also. Now let's take an example of shared UI, like for the button, right? We are having this button, a simple component which is shared between this docs and in the web application. So you can go to the app, you will be having the page to tsx file, and inside this you are having this button, and this button is coming from this UI package, right? So this is how you can use this shareable UI components. So you can pass the tailwind classes or anything from here, and you can just make a simple change over here, hello and app name, and let's start this. And you can see hello docs app and hello web app. And if I make some changes over here, it will be in the both the apps, right? So this is how a Turborepo saves you a lot of time while the developing and building the project. Now let's see the caching in action. So you can close this server and you can build this project. So npm run build, and you can see it is taking a long time for building the both of the projects. And now you can see 2 successful, 2 total, and 0 cached, 2 total. Now this took around 11 seconds. Okay, this was a small project like on a single page application or a single page. Now you can think like you will be having a multiple pages and a lot more big applications, so it will be taking around more time, right? Now let's rebuild this application, and what you can see, 3 to 1 millisecond full turbo. This just used 2 cached builds inside this to build these 2 apps. So you can think like it will be saving you a lot of time while building your applications, and that is the Turborepo caching which is doing this job. Now I want to add a simple note over here. If you are having a simple small project and you are building by your own, or this is a hobby project, so don't go with the Turborepo because it is not for you. It might increase your code base complexity and you might get into some trouble, okay, while building this app. And if you are just starting with the programming, so don't use the Turborepo because it is not for beginners. And if you just want to learn how Turborepo works, and this helps you create fast projects and ship faster, and if you are having multiple same looking projects, you want to match the theme, you want to use the single databases and single configuration for all your applications, you can definitely go with the Turborepo. It will be saving you a lot of time while building and also developing the application. So if you are managing multiple packages, multiple applications, so you can definitely go with it. It will be life saving for you. That's all for this video, guys. If this video helped you to learn something new, you can hit the subscribe button and you can hit the like button. If you are having any doubts, so you can comment it out. Alright, thank you so much guys for watching this video. I will see you in the next video.